Man, Louis. I'm painting pictures. I'ma paint the picture, Louis. I'm going dusty, painting pictures. I'ma paint the picture. I'm painting pictures. Man, Louis going dusty. I'm painting pictures. 1080p HD, perfect picture. Man, Louis Da Vinci. I'm painting pictures. Shot.
Chris Kokell on the line. Kokell, you with me?
What's going on, guys?
Kokell, it is great to hear your voice. You texted us earlier today. You said, when we gonna get you on High School Hysteria? I said, you want to come on tonight because it was supposed to be a special occasion, but you're still making it pretty special for us. Coach, good to have you back talking on High School Hysteria, Coach. You were a coach at Olympic Heights, got off the sideline. Now you're back at Westwood, Fort Pierce Westwood. What was the big factor that brought you back to the football sidelines? With the headset and the coaching board and instead of the microphone.
Well, I heard that ESPN was going to hire Stone Lebanowitz, so I knew it was time to jump ship as soon as possible.
I hate you. I literally hate you.
Meanwhile, Stone's been on Hysteria with me probably more than anyone besides Joe Colella, so I can't really say that. But now I'm the guest, and he's the radio host, so we've kind of switched roles. But it wasn't about wanting to get back to the sidelines. It was about Fort Pierce Westwood being available. Be in Fort Pierce, and Westwood's the home school for the heart of Fort Pierce. The way that city is, the way they get behind each other, and for them to invite my family to be a part of that, there's nothing better. So it was just for that opportunity to be there and to be a Panther, I couldn't pass it up.
When the news broke in mid-January that you were going to take over the program, I was so excited for you because I know how much success you'd had at Olympic Heights, and I know you've got everybody in the coaching and the football game down here, and I knew you got a lot of coaching genes at heart. But what was the transition like for you in getting back into the day-to-day of coaching? Was it kind of like riding a bike and you never forget it, or you gotta have to knock the rust off a little bit? What was that like, just getting into the day-to-day?
Well, it's funny because you were a part of the process and probably didn't even realize it as we're sitting there at Kaiser games, calling games, and I'm watching and in my head also scheming and thinking about adjustments I can make, and then seeing the great Doug Sosha make better adjustments than I thought of and being like, man, I could try that if I'm coaching again. And the wheels just start turning the more you're around the game. And then calling high school games and going through with Coach Jimmy Bell and watching Treasure Coast and Coach Irv go on that run. What a great program Treasure Coast is, and watching them go on that run and seeing it. And it's like, if I can have a program with kids that are talented like that and work hard like Treasure Coast, and that itch was just there. And then all of a sudden Westwood pops open, and it was like the perfect storm because I'd already gotten back into it calling games, and then the dream school for me and the dream city for me opens up. So it was just time to go. And the transition's been great. And then to have the coaching staff like Coach Q and Coach Bembry, who are already there, Coach John. Then we got Coach Pryor from Lincoln Park. He's at Lincoln Park in Fort Pierce, so he's a guy who knows all these kids. And then the DB god, Ryan LaVon, is available. He ends up buying a house in Port St. Lucie. He's Palm Beach Gardens and Palm Beach Lakes, D.C. He hits me up and he's like, hey, you have a spot on the team? And I was like, let's roll, man. Let's get this thing going.
I absolutely love how comfortable and healthy and motivated you sound right now. So I'm looking forward to what you guys are going to do. But first off, oh, how the tables turn. You kind of shadowed it a second ago. But seriously, man, you were somebody who inspired me to get into this business and the career that I'm choosing. And before I ask any questions, I just want to say thank you. You're the man. I've been around a lot of Fort Pierce players, and I've played in St. Lucie County for most of my time here, at least during the summers and the off seasons. Spent a lot of time with Jabari Williams, the head man of the Treasure Coast Elite 7-on-7 team. And I would tell you that 60% of those rosters in my 3 years, and now I coach those quarterbacks, are all Fort Pierce kids. And like I said, he actually coached at Westwood. He coached at T-Coast. And I've been teammates with guys who have gone on to have storied careers from St. Lucie County. The list goes on and on. It's Khalil Mack. It's Wonderful Terry. It's Jeff Luck. It's Nahari Crawford. Like I said, the list goes on and on. But with that being said, you stepping into kind of a new county. I know you were down south with Olympic Heights and Palm Beach County. But do you feel obligated to succeed, in, especially early, because of that? Because I feel like most of our players come from at least the ones that are household names or what you could call household names, either Palm Beach County or St. Lucie County. Those are really the two counties where we have our most guys, and you are sitting in a spot full of talent, kids coming at you left and right, and I know a lot of them, but do you feel obligated to succeed early?
Well, I laughed when I took the job, and you know me, I spend a little bit of time on Twitter, at RealCoachK for anyone who wants to follow. Looking at all these top kids in the area, and you look at their profile pictures, and they got Westwood on, but then you look at their handle, and it would say another school. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It just tells you that there's so much talent at Fort Pierce Westwood that should be home at Fort Pierce Westwood that's either gone by themselves or maybe been offered a cell phone or been taken to other schools and gone there for other reasons. But if we can just build that wall around Fort Pierce Westwood and just keep everybody home and keep the excitement, I think the excitement's starting to be felt in the city, and people realize, why are you going to go anywhere else? We're going to take care of everything you need at Westwood. The kids are all geared up already. We're getting new battle uniforms. They're already ordered. They'll be here before the season starts. So we're going to look good. Hopefully we'll play good, and then there's no reason to leave. And I don't pat myself on the back about much. Like, I joke around a lot. But no one's going to work harder than me in trying to find a home for kids at college. And I think that was some of the worry. And, me and you have worked on your college thing a little bit too. Like, so firsthand. Like, I'm going to grind. If nothing else, I will grind for my guys. And I've helped countless kids in the area for free, and I will still help countless kids in the area. Right now, I got my own group of guys that I can help, and they're so darn talented that I think it's going to be easier for me to get some of these kids at the school. And I think Westwood, hopefully, it was 0-9 last year, but I think we're going to find out real quick that we're not that team. We start off playing a playoff team in Forest Hill in the Kickoff Classic, and we took care of business against John I, and now we go to take that step up to a playoff team. And I think we're ready to roll, and I think there may be some pressure, but I don't look at it like that. I look at it as I'm excited for that challenge, not so much I'm nervous about pressure.
I know a lot of people in Fort Pierce, when you mentioned building that wall around it, would appreciate that, and I especially do.
Kokell, one of the things that I was so excited about when you took over Westwood is that you've shown the ability to rebuild a program already. You took over Olympic Heights. They were winless. You turned them into a 7-3 ball club in 2 years. There's no handbook for a turnaround, but with this being your second rebuilding process, if you will, what can you take from your experience at Olympic Heights and use it to duplicate that where you are now?
I mean, go a little bit further back. My first head coaching job was Pope, which was coming off a winless season, and I think a one-win season before that. We were 500 within 2 years, and then Forest Hill was, I think, 1-99 before we got there. They had youth helmets in their locker room. Going through that rebuilding process with myself and Coach Baz and Jude Blessington and Jim Bassford, all these names who ended up being big-time coaches. I was part of that. You know what I mean? I was the head coach in that process, and seeing that turn on, the things I've learned at each of these stops, and then going to Olympic Heights, it sped up a little bit because we learned a little bit more. We said, okay, we know how to get there. And we were able to get to 7-3 in 2 years. Then Baz beats Wire the following year because everywhere I've gone, I've always left it, in a better place than before I got there. But, man, I get to Westwood, I'm looking around the locker room like, wait, this is not 0-9?
Right.
Are you crazy? There is so much talent in there, and the kids just work hard, and they're great kids. You can tell their parents care about them, and they want them to be successful in life. It's all right there at Westwood. So just sitting in that locker room realizing, like, this isn't a rebuild. This has got to be a reload, and let's go play. And watching all these young kids come in already in the summer, these 8th grades going into 9th grade that haven't had a chance to be stolen yet. And it's like, there's talent right there. I was telling one of the other coaches, man, I'm just coach JV instead because that team's going to be a lot of fun.
Again, talking here on High School Hysteria with one of the foremost experts on football in South Florida, and the new Fort Pierce Westwood head coach, Chris Kokell. Coach, I just commend you again on how much you go out of your way for your athletes on social media and all the other ways you do so. And one of the guys I've seen all over Twitter in the last couple of weeks is Jalen Mons, who has really blown up this spring. He's got a handful of D1 offers. And almost half of the Ivy League wants him as well. We talk all the time about kids who have opportunities at some of the best football programs in the country, but to have the chance to go play in the Ivy League, I mean, that takes a very special type of kid in itself. What's it been like getting to know and getting to coach Jalen on and off the football field?
I knew his brother James a little bit, through the show and just getting to know the kids in the area and kind of being a friend to the high school programs in the area. And James always told me, my little brothers are better than me. I was like, all right, whatever. Everybody says that, except for my older brother. He knew he was better than me, and he let everybody else know too. But most people say that about their little brothers. And then I got to watch Jalen play, and I'm like, oh, you're just as good. But the instincts there, you could tell he watched the older brother play. You know what I mean? And then his dad was so good, and grandpa and uncle, and you realize, like, oh, this is Fort Pierce royalty. And I'm telling you, as good as Jalen is, watch out for Jabari Mons, rising ninth grader. That kid can play, and he's a dog, and size doesn't matter with him. He will claw his way to the top and break up passes. So just to be around those guys and see that special talent, and the best part about Jalen is you talk to him, you would have no clue the have 10 offers, including schools where you're like generational changes in life are made, like a Yale, a Dartmouth, a Columbia. You don't know because he's just such an unassuming, nice kid, and that's the beautiful part. The Mon family has done a great job. Their cousin Chris Pierre is our D tackle, 2024 kid. He's an absolute monster, meat on the field. You talk to him off the field, he's the most respectful kid in the world. So they just do a great job with their kids, and it's just special to be able to coach some of those guys.
I love that. Chris, you sent me your guys' schedule, and I literally was chomping at the bit to ask you this question, but who on the schedule are you most worried about? And please don't hide from this. I don't want a basic answer. I know you're not that kind of coach, and that's why I'm asking you this. So give me straight up, which game on your schedule means the most for you and the Panthers this season?
I mean, it's got to be tomorrow. Whoever we play tomorrow. No, I'm not going to do that to you. Obviously, it's the district games, and it's Fort Pierce Central. They took a trophy from us last year.
Right.
And I plan on getting that thing back that I caught myself that I'm back on the radio. I want to get that trophy back. That school down there and that claims to be Fort Pierce also, that's our trophy. We're bringing it back to Westwood. So district games are obviously most important, and then you go to get that cup.
What I love most about Coach Kokell is that he knows all the coach speak and the coach cliches, but he also gives us some good stuff on the radio too.
No doubt.
Coach, another guy I want to ask you about is a young quarterback for you guys named Joseph Weathers. He's the class of 2026, a youngster. We were talking earlier today. You said that we were going to know his name, whether it's this fall or a couple falls from now. What can you tell us about a guy that they call Joey Storms?
Yeah, no one's called him that yet. I'm trying to get it to go. You guys are my test run with the Joey Storms thing. So hopefully that picks up and that takes off. He's just a hard-working kid. He can throw the ball all around the field. Like, luckily we have a kid in Todd Jackson right now playing quarterback who could be a starting quarterback at any school in the area, but could also be a starting running back at any school in the area. So talent will let all the pieces fall where they may. But Joey's and he's a winner. He was on that Firehawks team. Then you got young kids like Jordan Clutchfield coming in. Kid's 6'1", 6'2". He's 13 years old, jumping and grabbing rim with two hands the other day in the gym. And I was like, oh, you're a receiver, huh? Okay, good. You're 13, wearing a size 13. And then Cameron Gooden, another kid, 6'3", 230, defensive end, never played before. I found him in gym class. The kid is an absolute stud. Stone, you'll laugh at this. You know the big stand-up tackle dummies?
Yes.
Like, they're supposed to pop up when you tackle them and hit them, right? So I just told him, all right, let's work on some swim and rip. He goes, comes across, the little, what looks like for the listening audience, like a slap in the face type of thing. Smacks it. That thing went all the way to the ground, bounced back up, and started coming back the other way. That's how strong this kid is.
So that's quick. That's
he's
power.
He's only 15 years old.
Wow.
It's incredible. The young talent in this program, it just makes it so exciting when you have that young talent, but you also have the senior leadership and a Cornelius Wilson. I can go on and on for days. Tremaine Bulldog Jackson, our 6'1", 320-pound center. I mean, our offensive line is probably 6'2", 280 across the board.
You also mentioned when we were texting earlier today, Cameron Gooden, who you mentioned was one of the best-kept secrets on the Treasure Coast. Coach, I also wanted to ask you as we wrap things up with Coach Chris Kokell out of Fort Pierce Westwood here on High School Hysteria. Coach, we've talked a lot last couple minutes about all the excitement around the Fort Pierce Westwood program. But, obviously there's going to be as much sun. There's going to be some cloudy days, too, and some things to work through. What do you think is going to be your biggest challenge in your debut season taking over that program?
It's just making sure they understand that we're here to stay. When you've had coaching change, what am I, like the fifth coach in 2 years, it feels like? They've changed coaches every other year, it seems like, for the last 8 years. And it's just that, we're here. This is where I want to be. This is a job I've wanted. I own a house in the county, and that's going to be the thing, is making sure they trust and know that we're not going anywhere. And I think I've pretty much shown that. I was at the point where this is going to sound like a dopey thing to say, but like schools were reaching out to me to see if I wanted to get back into coaching, and I kept saying no. You know what I mean? Like it was that point. I wanted this job. So there's not another job that's going to pop up where I'm like, oh, now I got my job. This isn't a stepping stone. This is a washed-up coach trying to get back into it because he loves it and finally found his dream job. This is I plan on being the old man and retiring at Fort Pierce Westwood job. So once that process is there, I think the sky's the limit because, yeah, we build that wall. There's no better city than Fort Pierce. There's no more talented city than Fort Pierce. And if everybody goes to the home school of Fort Pierce Westwood, we should make some runs.
Coach, we very much appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of the summer. The season is going to be here before we know it, so enjoy a little time off. Look forward to talking with you then, and thanks again for joining us this evening.
No, thank you, guys.
Everything is everything. All is one. Everything is everything.
All is one.
Everything is everything.
All is one.
We all we got.
We all we need.
We all we got.
We all we need.
We all we got.
We all we need.
I'm so hungry.
I'm so hungry.
I'm so hungry.
I'm so hungry.
I gotta eat.
I gotta eat.
I gotta eat.
I gotta eat.
The mood is right.
The mood